Who knows what these stones are? All of these were gifted to me by the lady who was so gracious to give me a lot of her supplies and pieces that she amassed over the years, and knew she wasn't going to use certain ones because she was delving into other types of media. So anyway, incredibly grateful. I don't know what half of these are. Maybe you guys do. But I'm going to pick a few and just do some very simple wraps. Very simple. I'm going to pick a few that have the hole drilled straight through. And we're just going to do a few simple wraps today. I think we're going to do these three. This I know is Rhyolite because it said on the little baggie it came in. So that's helpful. Look at that. It looks like the map of a rainforest with some desert areas in the middle. Wow, that's even better. I like that side. And then we're going to do this one. I don't know what this one is either. I'm not sure if that's natural or if it has a little bit of blue added to, enhance it. And this looks white at first, but you got to see it actually has a lot of colors going on in there. If the camera will show you. The camera's being stubborn. There we go. So there is that, and let's begin. The Rhyolite I'm going to do with 20 gauge burgundy wire, and always test your if you do have stones that have holes drilled through them, test to make sure your wire will fit. This just barely fits, but it does. So I took about 1.5 feet, and not much because I'm going to do a very simple wrap because I don't want to cover most of the face of this because it just looks so good that... Anyway, so I'm coming to the middle of the wire, and I'm going to go crimp, crimp, and decide which part is the top, make a loop. You can use your round nose pliers. If you have nice copper and you just fold it around like that, it makes a perfect circle, really, without too much effort. But some people will take a paintbrush or something and wrap it around there, or a marker. So I want that a little smaller, so I'm just going to roll it tighter. And I want this tighter down here, so I'm going to open that again, get that little kink out, and I'm going to bend it tighter. Okay, so this I'm going to twist once. That just gets the loop in there tighter. Now, I'm going to come around here, coming across the edge of the face, but I'm not covering up it very much. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to come across the edge, and I'm going to pick this corner to make a little, what could start to be a swirl. So I'm folding these over each other. I love nice soft copper. It just flows so nicely. Now, normally what I would do is all kinds of fancy designs with the wire. But again, we don't want to cover up, this stone is so pretty, we just don't want to cover it up. So we are just going to come across here and actually fold over to the back a little bit. As we come to the back here, we're gonna cross the wire to hold it together. I'm gonna give it a couple twists. One twist won't always hold it. You usually need 2 or 3 if you're gonna do some twisting. Okay, and now we're pressing it tight against the stone here. And we're coming up across the face, or I call the loop the face, because then we give it a nice scarf. So we want that to curve a little more. There we go. So we're just getting these 2 tiny little curves in there. And now we're just going to wrap this guy. We're going to scarf him, meaning we're going to stack the wraps up higher and higher until we're happy with how high they are. And then we're going to cut 2 little tabs halfway across the loop so we can tuck them in, like 2 little sharp ends being tucked in. Bend them towards the middle and then pinch them slowly into the bowl formed by the scarf. So that was probably the easiest wrap I've ever done. See? And I want that to actually come down a little bit more. So it's kind of hugging the edge right there. And that will keep this from snagging easily. And that's just one loop, one curve actually rather, just one little curve coming around. and then one little curve coming halfway up the other side, and that's it. Simplicity. Now this little guy, again, I don't know what he is, but maybe you guys know. And I'm going to use 24 gauge silver. Silver and blue looks so good together. And I'm going to double it up. So 24, let's see, I'm going to take a lot of it since we have to double it. So we're probably going to take about 3 feet. And then when we fold it in half, it's going to end up with 1.5 feet. So we're going to take a meter and end up with 1.5 meters. Look how thin that is. I'm going to take the two ends, put them together. And then we're going to stretch it down to find the loop at the other end. There we go. And we're going to treat this as if it's a single piece of wire. First, we're going to thread it through. Always make sure your stone and your hole fit. I already tried 20 gauge on this stone, and 20 gauge did not fit. So the 224 gauge, let's see, it's actually thinner than one set of 20 gauge. And it just barely makes it. It's a struggle, but we're getting it through. Got to pull it through the other side with the pliers, but we made it. And now I'm going to bring this to the middle of our double wire. And again, we're going to crimp. And this side with the two strands, we're going to make a tiny little loop because this is still very flimsy wire, even if it's doubled up. And so we don't want to, generally the smaller the loop you make, the stronger it is. If you make a really big wide loop, because of physics, it will be weaker. So I'm going to get a tiny little baby loop. The loop is about the size of a little smaller than a green pea. I'm going to hold this, wrap it around itself once. Put that tight, nice and tight, and poof. Another way you can strengthen it is you can twist when you have wire this thin. But I wanted to make it as simple as possible, so I'm going to come down. Again, we're going to do a similar one from before. I'll fold this up, fold this down. We're going to cross these down here again. This is a very pretty stone, but it doesn't have any like crazy wild features that I'm worried about covering up. So we can really let the silver shine, and you know. And the silver is so thin that, like, it'll look, the blue will show through no matter what. But see that? We just wrapped around and around, and we made a swirl right there at the bottom. Man, this camera is not happy today. It's trying to get in focus. All right, that's a little better. So I'm going to take these and wrap them across the top here. And when we come across the top here, we're going to fold them and do a double twist. That holds the wire tighter. And we're going to come back, and we want to be a little lower than this. A little bit further down like that. And then we're going to come up like this, press tight against the stone, and now we have 4 strands of wire that we're rolling. And that's it. We're just going to keep them together now, and we're just going to roll all 4 of them across the top loop there, and fold it around and come around one more time. We're almost, man, this camera does not like focusing on this teeny tiny wire. Sorry, guys. Woo. And fold it one more time, and it almost covers the entire loop. So what we do now, just take our good cutters that somebody gifted to me, thank you so much, and gently, this is very precise. This is a slightly harder wrap if you're looking for simple wraps, so maybe don't try this one right away until you've tried a few simpler ones, but and it doesn't want to show you. Okay, so those 4 strands, I have to tuck them in. I can barely see them. Oops. All right, I'm going to have to, this camera's not letting me see it, so I'm going to have to pause for a second and see if I can get this. Okay, success. I made this loop a tiny bit too small, so it was really, I had to be real careful tucking in those 4 sharp ends in the back. So make your loop maybe a little bigger than 9, but it's fun when you have these 4 strands. I did this in a few other videos. You can separate these little baby strands and make like a pretty fan coming out like that. You can do it down here too with these two. Separate them and use your fingernail, and you can have this pretty fan. But I think I'm going to leave these two together because they're pretty separated, and it's just like, we'll just leave the fan right there. There'll be a nice effect. So we have the fan. We have 4 going to 2, going to 1. Kind of like a neat math trick. All right, so there's that one. And this creamy, pearly looking stone, I think I'm going to use the double silver again, because it's just going to look silver with pearl. It's 2 bright colors together, but it just looks so pretty. And this wire is so flimsy. I'm pretty sure this is 26 gauge. I thought it was 24, but it wasn't marked. But whatever, we're going to solder through it. Put it through there again. We're going to bring it to the middle of the wire again. And this time I'm going to give this we crimped it, and I'm going to give this a twist at the top here, so make it a little stronger for this loop. So we're going to hold this and just twist. Twist, 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 twist. Probably not going to get an even twist because I haven't practiced a lot with 26 gauge, but that's okay. It'll just be something. It'll strengthen the wire a little tiny bit. There we go. All right, crimp it, come around, we'll make a loop. Twist the loop once around, hold it tight. And do again this pattern where we just come across, because it's just such an easy pattern to do, where we fold the top up and the bottom down, and then we cross them somewhere down at the bottom to make a little swirl. So we're coming around. See, I told you the silver would look really good on this. You didn't believe me. I could feel your negative thoughts. I said, you will believe in time. You will come to know the power of silver on a pearl-colored stone. Now, see these. Now watch this. We're just going to do the most fun thing and simple thing ever. I told you it would be simple. That blue one wasn't quite as simple, but this one is going to be simple again. So I'm just trying to separate these evenly, these 4. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? And we're going to press them and fold over our finger, fold over our thumb, press them like this, and then fold over again. And press that loop, that curve tight. Fold over again, fold over again, fold over again. Finally, I'm not even sure if they're in the same whatever, but finally we're going to come to the top and we're going to wrap and wrap just like we did with the blue one, but this time we have a much slightly stronger and a bigger loop to work with. Now I'm just going to pinch that, get it a little rounder. You can use your flat nose pliers to make the loop round just by pinching corners out. Flattening corners actually makes the whole thing rounder. That's good enough. For me, we're not going to be perfectionists tonight. And look at that beautiful wrap. This is the fun part, where you just fold it over and you watch the wraps stack. They stack over each other. Look at that. And we are finished. We're going to come around the back. And this one should be much easier to tuck, because we learned from the mistake of the blue stone. I'm going to cut it. And these 4 little tabs sticking up, we're going to bend them towards the bowl that we made by scarfing, and we're going to tuck it in, and that's it. It's done. Look at that. And that was easy. All I did was fold it back and forth, whoop, 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 whoop. But because I had the 4 strands, I tried to keep them together, but they didn't want to stay together. But look at how they separated like an ocean wave. So pretty. And it's a simple wrap. You don't need to add anything else. That's it. You're done. You could turn this on each of these. You can turn these a quarter turn to put your chainer cord through. I like to leave them like this and put jump rings instead, because it adds like an extra little dimension. And if you put like 3 jump rings, it mirrors the scarf. So anyway, here are 3 beautiful wraps for today. I hope you have enjoyed this. time with us, a peaceful and beautiful time. Have a good night, everybody.